I threw my axe! Oh. Houdini's axe?
Okay, Ed may or may not know this already, but just in case, before I explain what actually happened, let me like go on a demonstration of a scenario where this also happens to me, but the most frequent. The heck? Okay, so that was a bit exaggerated, I'm not gonna lie, but what happened there was, for Ed, it was his axe that disappeared, and for me, that was my pickaxe. And this happens when you're throwing something out on your hotbar and then you switch to another hotbar item instantly. So like that. And that's a bit concerning, right? So that's so easy to replicate. So I only dropped my golden ingot, but then my pickaxe is gone. So what gives, right? It's still there. Client side, it's a bit confused. Server side, it knows it's still there. And the easiest fix I've found of this that I do, and I'm not sure if other people do this, they might, but for me, what I do is offhand on offhand, just like that. So again, when you throw something and then switch to something instantly, look how easy that is to replicate. That's concerning. It's easy to replicate, but it doesn't happen all the time. But it is consistent, which kind of sucks. But it's good that there are easy fixes to this, thankfully. So again, just offhand on offhand. So this works because when you're throwing this item out and then you switch to something immediately, it thinks that you're also dropping that item. So even though you only dropped the one item that you threw before, the second item just vanishes from your inventory. But it's not showing in the real world because it didn't actually drop. So again, same principle, but another way is if you found yourself in your inventory, you can just like click that slot and then it'll show up. And then you can put it back. So it's easy, right? I attribute this to the fact that Minecraft runs only at 20 tick rate, so 20 TPS. And I'm not sure if this is actually the reason, but I always just attribute this to like any of the ghost stuff that happens in this game, really. Like the ghost buckets. But yeah, this happened with Ed because when he was like doing this route in housing, when he was dropping down, or when he was about to drop to his training hole, see what he did there? Like he drops a piece of gold to distract the piglins for an extra second so he can get into his hole safely. But at the same time, he does this a lot, but when he's dropping something, he like default insta switches to his axe, which is his one slot. He switches to his axe, which is, not bad. I'm not addressing it as a problem. It's not his fault, that's for sure. So this happens with this axe a lot. He drops his gold to distract the piglins, and then he instantly switches to his axe. So the axe just ghost drops.
I threw my axe!
So yeah, for me, this happens the most when I'm doing a bastion, or most notably in a treasure bastion route, like this route in particular. Like when you're going up the stairs and then you get to that corridor and you have to like mine the 2 blocks to bridge the pigs from the other rampart. Even if you have like the bottom stairs blocked, like the top pigs are still gonna be a problem more than likely. So when you're like breaking these blocks, you have to like be throwing your gold at the same time, right? And what happens to me the most is like when I'm doing this, I like ghost drop my pickaxe since I'm going back and forth between the two, right? But yeah, so thankfully this used to be like a problem, but I kind of like quickly caught wind of it fast because when this does happen to me, what I do now is just I offhand, on-offhand fast, and then you can just like continue what you're doing. Yeah, like the worst of all is like if you don't realize, like, okay, oh, so it's still there. Like surely I can use it, right? No, client side, since it doesn't know, it can't even like mine efficient. So it's acting like it's not there, but really it is. So offhand, on offhand. So yeah, another like instance I know of Ed experiencing this in the past is when he was like at a fortress and his axe was ghost drop. So since Ed was like trying to gauge the situation and like he kind of like panicked a bit because, you know, like he has nothing to kill the blazes with. He kind of like switched stuff around in his inventory, but like the third way you can go about this is if you think for some reason you've only switched it with like one item in your inventory, like say like golden apple in this scenario, because you can't switch it with that. It's still there, but it is now in the slot where you switched it to. So just click that slot and then it'll appear. So yeah, the last interaction is when you like panic and you're not sure what to do, and like it ghost drops, and then like you go through like your inventory and then, like you just switch stuff around because you're like trying to gauge the situation. Like it's not in the overworld, it's gone. No, it's still there. But since now that you've switched stuff around, you can't like pinpoint where to exactly click, right? Oh, it just happens to be there. I actually didn't think it'd be there. But yeah, normally you'd have to like trial and error just to find where it went, you know? Hold on. So like when I switch it around, yeah, like you have no choice. And at this point, you'd think you have to like manually click every slot now. And you'd think you only need to click the empty slots because, you know, like if it can only be in an unoccupied spot, right? Because there's existing items. No. When you switch stuff manually, like to a slot, you can switch an item to the slot of the ghost dropped item. There's like, see yeah, that happens. It's so weird. Yeah, like with this in particular, duplicated, sometimes it just like shows the pickaxe normally like that. But when you're manually switching, it's just tough. So if I didn't like click that, it's gonna show up as my dirt. So you can't just like choose the empty slots because it was actually there. So you have no choice. You have to go through everything and trial and error. But yeah, that's the worst case scenario, right? So yeah, it's gonna take some time, but you really have nothing else to do, or you have no choice unless you can like craft the same item again. But I digress. So again, if this does happen, best case scenario, it just fixes itself, like what happened in this clip, because this clip is very interesting. Actually, let me play it. Like when he gets to here and he's like about to turn his gold blocks into golden ingots, as easily as the axe disappeared, it just magically reappears as easily.
Houdini's axe?
And yeah, like this clip is particularly interesting because it shows like two sides of this interaction, like surprisingly enough. And the thing I want to point out, apart from the 4 ways you can go about this, like when that does happen, what he did was he crafted stuff, right? And like when you shift click something, I'm not sure. I think it works also if you don't shift click. I don't know, really. I haven't tried. Okay, I don't think it does when you don't shift click, but when you do shift click, it kind of like updates your inventory, so it just shows up again. So that's like the easiest way you can go about this. Best case scenario, it just refixes itself. Worst case, you have to go through every slot, but you have no choice by that point. But yeah, this doesn't only happen in Bastions. This can happen anywhere, and it happens to almost everyone, basically. For Ed, this happens like once a stream, which sucks. But, well, yeah, at least he knows now how to deal with this. But yeah, again, easiest way is if you know it's still there, you haven't really maxed anything out. Offhand, on offhand. Simple. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot. I don't want to say reverse, but it works both ways, essentially, is what I want to say. Like, for example, if I was dropping my pickaxe or my axe, right? And then I switch instantly to an item that is stackable or has more than one item in its slot. Like this instance, right? I drop my axe and then switch to my gold ingots, like, instantly. See that? Like, I drop my axe, and then it thought I also dropped a piece of my gold ingots, but not really, right? So like when I update the inventory now, it's gonna show, or it's gonna reflect the accurate amount that it has. So yeah, that's just a testament to show like with these interactions, you can have like false info on your inventory. But if you're sure about something, like, oh, like there's a scenario where you could think you have enough of something and then somehow, some way, that item just like becomes less in value, like after like a while. Like that, right? Oh wait, I was like sure I had 2 gold. Yeah, just like update, and then you'd have your accurate amount reflected. So yeah, and then another thing is, since that's pointed out now, this probably works as well with, you know, dropping a full stack or of something. Like say I'm like gonna drop a full stack of this dirt and then switch to my gravel, right? Or if I'm doing the same thing but with my axe and then switch to a stackable item. See that? Yeah, so even though it's only 1 and I switched to my gold, it thought I dropped everything. So like when I update my inventory now, it's just gonna show what it was, right? Like the actual value. So I can like do the same but with 2 stackable items. Let me see. See that? Okay, so I dropped the full stack of golden ingots, but then since I switched to my dirt, it acted as if I also dropped that. Like when I update my inventory now, boom, an entire stack. Oh, that's actually curious, because it also got the rest of the dirt here. Or I'm not sure if I double clicked, I'm not sure. But yeah, this is just so much. There's so many interactions and dynamics to this, but yeah, I just wanted to point that out.